2, 1, and I'm going to hit go. All right, click and go live. I believe we're live. It's Mr. Fisher, Mr. Thomas, Mr. TJ Barker hanging out today in the Mortgage Loan Officer Network. We brought Mr. Thomas on today because we heard he was really good at teaching classes. We started talking to other folks who he's been mentoring. We looked at his numbers. We talked to other loan officers in the East Coast and realized he's kind of a legend in his state and in that part of the world. And so we chatted him up and said, John, let's talk more about this. Let's give the LOs of America a little bit more insight on what it really means to be a loan officer that's an educator. Something like that, right?
Yes, sir.
So I know you just mostly for messaging and a couple phone calls. The loan officers in our network perhaps know you. Some of them I know are in your programs. But let's talk a little bit about you. I mean, you're doing really well. You're doing 20, 25 units a month. You're one of your company's better producers. Your state is about the size of a football field.
Maybe a soccer field.
Yeah. So I mean, what led you to doing this, and you know what are you doing right now? I mean, how big is your team, and you know how do you make all this work for yourself as your personal business?
Great question. So I mean, I got in this business kind of on a fluke. I used to be a fighter and a high school teacher. I had a degree in physics, so I taught physics and physical science, and had a cleaning and restoration company. I ended up fighting real good career and ended up hurting my back and had back surgery and had to give up the cleaning and restoration business because we were still building it. I still had to get on the truck and, you know, in the middle of the night, the guy didn't show up. So I got out of that, and it was the summer I was off work, and a buddy of mine from college was doing loans and said, hey, why don't you come help me out? And then that was 05, going into 06. The market had turned, so there was no refi. So I started doing what I know. I started teaching homebuyer seminars. Guys started doing that. So I was always purchase business. And, you know, by the end of 06, I was making more money doing loans than I was doing teaching, and I had to make a decision. So I pretty much jumped into loans, walked away from 12 years of teaching, and haven't looked back really. And then built my business on homebuyer seminars, which because I, was an educator at heart, and then moved into teaching realtors because I realized that consumer direct is great, but the realtors are already generating all these leads. So I went into the realtor realm and kind of started hooking them by teaching classes. And then finally learned in, I guess it was 2011, that if I, trying to do everything yourself, process, because back then you could process, originate, throw it in, but then you're working 7 days a week, 12 hours. So then I realized I got to do something different to have a life. So in 11, I tried to start building a team. Took me till probably 16 to figure that out. That's a huge process, figuring out who to hire, when to hire, who to keep, not to keep, how to structure it, getting standard operating procedures in place, job description, checklist, all that, figuring out how to run the business. So I pretty much now, I maybe do 5% of what's done in my business. The team, I built a team that does 95% of everything. So I'm at the beach right now, which my team's telling me not to work. Don't answer an email. No one's going to call you. My cell phone's not on any material, so I give some realtors my cell phone, that kind of stuff, but no clients ever get my cell phone.
Wow.
So that's kind of how I run my business. And then last year I think it was 70% realtor referral, and I did 252 units. Previous year I did 275 units. My problem is, you said, I'm in a little state with little loan amounts. So I have a bunch of my friends in Maryland make fun of me because they're like, oh, did you close a $50,000 loan, John? Way to go. But, it's not that bad, but it certainly makes a difference.
Well, you and I talked about it before the call. I think we have the same loan amount average in Michigan. It's just these Maryland guys, man. They're all look at me and my Washington, D.C. loans.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's more the D.C. Maryland guys, the guys that are on the D.C. side of Baltimore. Yeah, that's where all the $500,000 and $600,000, $700,000 deals are coming from.
Dude, I would take 300.
Hey, real quick, what beach are you at right now?
What?
Which beach?
Ocean City.
All right.
Maryland.
Yeah, man, it's my stomping ground, man. We were just down there last week. We got a place on 50th Street, right across from Secrets.
I'm on 67.
Cool.
Sunset Island. So.
Yep. Awesome. So we could talk about that, but unfortunately, I'd get kicked off if I start telling my old Ocean City stories from when I was living down there 20 plus years ago. But I think it's cool. One of the things that you just mentioned was you're talking about teaching. Like this whole teaching classes thing's really, been hot for the last 18 months or so here within the MLO community. Like our buddy Chad Prio was one of the first people that we spoke to. It was like, man, I'm just out there teaching classes, teaching these people, teaching agents what to do. You've been doing it for 5 years, man, before it got hot, right? What kind of brought you into that you said that? I think that one of the best ways to do this was to get in front of agents and just teach them and brand myself as an expert.
Oh, sure. And the biggest thing is, what I found is you got to be the guy in front of the room. Like, it's cool to bring in an appraiser or an underwriter or whatever, but you're going to add value, but you're not going to pick up any new relationships because nobody's going to want to talk to you. They want to talk to the person who's in front of the room. They're like, yeah, thanks for bringing the person. It's kind of like sponsoring a realtor's event. You're not going to get any new realtors from sponsoring someone's event. But if you're up there teaching the class and it's solid content, they're going to look at you as an expert and come to you for advice. I mean, I do business planning meetings all the time with agents. They call me when they're going to institute a new marketing strategy or do this or do that. Because they see me as an expert from all the classes I've done.
That's awesome. So it's really, like I said, you built yourself a brand, right? As not just the guy who knows how to calculate a debt to income ratio and issue a pre-qualification letter within 2 hours. You built yourself a brand as a business expert. So when these guys, sounds like when they want to go ahead and do something or build their business or they need advice or help, now you're they're picking up the phone and calling you.
Oh, certain. And then, I do that strategy when I first meet with an agent. I'll bring them in, and most LOs throw up on the agent about all the stuff they can do, their USPs, all of that. I start right with, so just want to get to know you a little bit better, see if we can create a win-win situation. What's your business plan? Like how many units you're trying to close? How many leads do you need? And most of them are like right there. They're like, So then, for me, I just pull out. Okay, I teach a business planning class. Let me whip out this form real quick, print it off, go through it, and get their numbers. And now I just, did what their freaking broker should have done back in December.
Right.
And then move on to their marketing plan, looking at their strategies. What are your strategies once you know how many leads, and just kind of be a consultant. And I have classes on all of those. So I can just print out a handout and say, oh, you don't have a database marketing strategy? Well, I teach a class. I got one coming up. Well, let me just print out the handout. Here it is. Why don't you do this? And then I follow up with this email action plan of everything we met with, and that just locks them into me. Like now I'm a partner. Yeah,
dude. So it sounds like as soon as you get a meeting, you got that locked down. You're building that fence up right there within that agent meeting before you even have them sitting in your class.
Oh, yeah. Or post-class, I'll do the same thing at the meeting, depending on what the class is. So I usually do the same first meeting, but I'm trying to learn about their business, also trying to qualify them and all that, and then give them some advice. And then even that's not going to lock them down. If you're not following up, you're not locking down crap. You can have the best first meeting, give them all this advice, but if there's no consistent follow-up, and the other thing about the seminars, the way I do it, is it gives me an opportunity to stay in front of my current agents, keep providing them value, keep connecting with them. And then I also are adding new agents, providing value. So just, the seminars is one piece of the follow-up system, staying in front of agents.
That's awesome, man. Very good. That's cool. So how many, I'm sorry, Fish said that you do about one class a month for the agents. Is that correct? Did I hear that correctly?
Well, I'll do 1 to 2 classes a month. What I recommend is 1 per area. What I mean by that is if you don't have your realtor marketing segmented by area, do 1, because otherwise what I've noticed, if you do, you could probably get away with 2, but it's tough to market. You need 3 weeks for each event, and you don't want to cross the message marketing an event while you're still marketing the current event, because then they'll start turning you off. So unless you've got a total segmented, like you're in Bel Air, if you're doing 1 in Bel Air and then you're going to do 1 south of Baltimore in Columbia, you could not send that message to anybody in your Bel Air group, because they'll start ignoring your Bel Air seminars because they're getting too many messages.
Right.
So I recommend 1 a month, because if you think about it, you got a 3-week ramp up, then you got a follow up, and when you're done, you're now going right into the 3-week follow up for the next class. So always recommending having at least 2 classes scheduled at a time. So as soon as you're done the one and at that event, you should have material pushing the next event.
Got it.
So you always should have at least 2 scheduled, if not more. And that's why 1 a month, because you figure 3 weeks, you're running right into the next event. Then you're trying to follow up post event of everyone that came.
Right. Which to your point earlier, if you're not doing the follow up, you just wasted your time. So
pretty much. Which I asked our buddy Keith had a great turnout, and then had so much going on that he said that he dropped the ball on the follow up on a lot of the agents, the newer ones. He got deeper with some of his current agents, but he was just like, I just forgot to follow the follow up steps.
Yep.
And then the next one he did, he followed the follow up steps. His conversion went way up. But it's great to fill the room, but that's half the battle, because the whole point is get a one-on-one.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. So it's cool. Sorry, Fish. I mean, as usual, you set these up. You do all the work. I jump in and get excited and start talking to our guests, man. So what do you got for John?
It's good, dude. I was going to ask very similar questions. I think one of the main challenges that the loan officer, well, there's 3 main challenges, and I guess maybe we can address those separately, but the big challenge I see with the loan officers is, they're not very confident in their content, so they allow that to stop them from even trying. And they don't even put something on the calendar because they're so worried about being perfect before they take action. What in the beginning, when you were first putting this together, did you have all your content built out for your 10 or 12 classes, or did you just decide, you know what, I'm going to do this and I'm going to start rolling and I'm going to kind of figure it out as I go?
Great question. So what motivated me was scheduling the class, because then I had to put the material together, because now I have a class and I have a deadline. So scheduling the class is huge for motivation, because if you don't have it scheduled, you're not going to do anything for a lunch and learn, because you're going to be doing loans. So you'll never do one. And then you got implementation is the key. So it should be ready, fire, aim. Anyone is ready, aim, fire. And I used to be guilty of that. The funny part is the smarter you are and the more degrees you have on the wall, the more analysis paralysis you get. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say dumber, but, guys that just take orders, kind of like your military guys, they'll probably implement faster than us college guys, because we want to overthink it. And the military guys are like, do this. Okay, yes, sir. Boom. Put it on the calendar and teach the class. Yes, sir. Right? And then figure it out.
You're talking to the kings of analysis paralysis right now. So that's
yeah. And I'm watching one of our military students kick my ass right now because he did exactly what you just said.
Right. So one of the things I recommend is just scheduling the class. And if it's your first class, then, heck, it's beginning of July. Schedule August, right? Everyone on this call, or anyone that's listening to this, if you want to teach seminars and you haven't done one and you've done them in the past, put one on the calendar for August right now. And then put it on Facebook, make a Facebook event, put it out there so people know it's there, because now you got to do it. And then you'll figure out the content and all that later. But that's the best way to get started, is just kind of like declare, hey, I'm doing it. Hey, everyone, here's a class, here's a topic. And pick the topic, and then if you don't have the topic, figure it out. Like get it together, find some resources, that kind of stuff. So my little evolution of this, one of my I have a degree in curriculum design, so I was real good at putting material together and PowerPoint, and real good at putting the bullet points together so that the information got transferred and it was real clear about what the implementation items were. But I still was tough to be consistent, because I couldn't create a new presentation every month, because it'd take me 2 months to get a rock solid presentation together. So, and you can't keep teaching the same class, because that's not providing value to your current agents, and you're not going to keep, in the same area, you'll wash the area if you keep teaching the same class every month. So you do have to have access or be able to create new consistent content. And some classes you can repeat, like July, I always do mid-year review in July, because it just makes sense. It's a class you should do every year. I call it mid-year review, boost, and breakthrough. So we're just I'm walking them through, reviewing where they're at. And then like November, I always do business planning. That's a class you'll do every single year. And then I follow that up in December with marketing planning, because it piggybacks right off business planning. So right there is 3 classes you could teach every year, but that's only at specific times. And then the other ones, you kind of want to rotate some different, classes through, unique classes. Lead generation is always good. Database marketing is always a great class. Building a team is a huge class, especially if you're trying to get those sweet spot agents that are at that production where they need to start building a team, versus where you get the mega agents that just want you to write a big check. So that's kind of the biggest thing was consistent content for me. So it took me a long time for me to build up my library of consistent content.
So how much does the type of content make a difference as far as who's going to attend the class and perhaps how you frame the class? Like if you teach a class that's called, accounting, are the agents going to show up versus save a bunch of dollars by managing your books better and spend more time on the road finding clients or something like that? I mean, how do you come up with the angle to present the classes and fill the rooms?
Well, the best thing to do is first not find a class you want to teach, but find a class where there's a pain point for your agents. Mm-hmm. I'll give you an example. I have a class that I teach called Counting the Money, how to run a profit loss personal budget, pay log. It's all about running your business, the backside of it, that no one ever teaches the agents. So I figured, you know what, I'll get some agents. That was one of my biggest classes that I had last year. Like, it was shocking. Like, I filled the room. There was no room left. But it was, Counting the Money is a pretty good title. But it was, all the marketing was about, running a profit and loss and a pay log and how to do your personal budget and metrics on how to track metrics on your business and that kind of stuff. So it's really like being a business owner, which you think they wouldn't jump on. But so many of the agents that have been doing decent business, that's where the wheels are falling off the bus. And they jumped on it. So I think you got to have a catchy headline. Counting the Money certainly was. If I would have put, hey, accounting for agents 101, not sure if I'd have got the same thing, but the need was there, and it was even more than I thought it was. So I think filling the need is huge. Like I can tell you right now, I got a class I titled Extreme Leads. How to generate 50 leads a month for agents. Well, that's always a pain point for a lot of agents is they don't have enough leads. That's why they don't have enough business. So that's a huge pain point.
So you asked them what their problem was, and then you design your classes around solving their problem. What a concept.
Genius, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right. So you teach all these classes, you do all this work, you really enjoy that part of it. What happens next, though? I mean, I know we already talked a little bit about the follow-up. What do you do after the classes to keep the momentum and actually turn it into business?
That's a great question. But let me just piggyback one step I think we skipped. So the challenges I see is 3 challenges. Well, 4. One is having consistent content, which we kind of covered, and then just scheduling the first class. Just, as Arnold Schwarzenegger said, just do it. The second thing is, how do you fill the room? Which we can come back to that, but you got to fill the room, because if you have the best class in the world and 2 agents show up, you're not going to get a lot of business unless they're the 2 biggest agents in the entire state. But and then the third piece to that is following up, which I'll answer your question. The fourth piece is kind of fits in the beginning, but it's fear of teaching. You know what I mean? Being afraid to get up in front of a room and teach. So those are the 4 challenges people encounter when they're trying to implement this strategy. Consistent content, good content, fill in the room, follow up, and fear of public speaking, if you want to call it that. All of those are easily surmountable. But in terms of the follow-up, one of the things I do is I have a survey that I strategically designed that it asks them, and I close for it in the beginning, right when I go over their packet, because I give them a packet in the beginning, and I review that and close for them to fill it out at the end. And then at the end, I reclose, right at the end, reclose to fill out the survey. I get about a 95% people. I got agents staying to fill out a survey because I said, if you got one thing today that can make you more money, can you please fill out the survey? Which tells you, more, hitting on the reciprocity principle to get them filled out. Now on the survey, I got some questions that are asking how the class was, some rating questions, but the key questions are, I have a question about would they be willing to use me? Will they get a permission to add them to my marketing email and all that kind of stuff? And then I'm asking them if they want to sit down one-on-one and discuss anything in the class or a business meeting. And then I'm asking for referrals for other agents that might be interested in the class. So all of that gets me tons of opportunities to meet with agents. And then what I do, all the ones, like the question about do you want a meeting, and the ones that circle yes versus the ones that circle no, I'm calling them all. I'm just calling the ones that said yes first. That's all. It shifts the self-screening process. But then that's where the rubber meets the road. So you have the survey, and then what I recommend by the next day is send out a thank you email that's strategically done, summarizing the class with an action plan or any handouts and material you had on that. So you've got that instant thank you email. And then within a week, you've got to have them on your call log. Everyone that attended the class, you have to call. Whether you're working with them or not, thanking them for the class, asking them if they have any questions, concerns, try and close for a meeting if you can. And then they need to go into your long-term drip, whatever you have, which would be friending them on Facebook, dropping them into your private realtor Facebook group, because that's a great way to get a message in front of them, and then putting them on your email blast and then on your phone call rotations. That's what the money is.
Whenever I do a class, that's probably my biggest drop off right there. Like, people walk out, they have all the warm fuzzies, they're feeling great about what we just spoke about, but then it's taking them to that next step to actually sit down and get that one-on-one meeting and pulling business out of them. I always seem to get like that one or two agents that, you can tell the ones that really kind of like buy in and they're all about it. They're easy to get. It's that other 5 or 6 or 7 who are like, yeah, man, it was pretty good. And then turning them into a relationship. That's where I really struggle. And I can tell you, just from listening to what you do versus what I do, that's all the difference in the world. I'm like, hey, I'll give you guys a call on Monday and touch base with you and see how things are going. Thanks so much for attending. You're actually building out the structure, saying, this is what's going to happen. Can I call you? Who else do you have? What else do you need? What did you get from this? So I love that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's the key. You can't do a soft follow-up. We're sales. You got to close for an appointment. That's really the whole point of the lunch and learns. I think everyone misses is it's great to be known to teaching. It's great to be seen in front of the room. But at the end of the day, all it is another system to get an appointment with an agent to close them to send you business. That's it. So if you're missing that point, which I think so many people do because there's so many moving parts to this, they get wrapped up in it. They get excited. They have all these people registered. They get excited. All these people showed up. They do the class and they're patting themselves on the back. And then, 2 months later, they're not getting any new business because the money's in the follow-up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's awesome. Yeah.
John,
so, all right.
Sorry,
Fish, go ahead.
I just want to share one thing that we found works really well when we're teaching our boot camp classes is we tell the instructors, hey guys, put yourself on the hook. This is good and bad, but when you put yourself on the hook and you tell the agents, hey, I'm going to come by your office and I'm going to hand deliver your completion certificate in color and framed, then that, lets the agents know that the lender's going to stop by, but it also gives them a reason to have to follow up. So
that's huge.
Yeah, so they they're following up with a certificate that says, hey, this agent's certified now, and in this particular 3-hour present a VA offer the seller will accept. But because they put themselves on the hook during the class, they look bad if they don't deliver it, and it reminds them, hey, oh my God, I got to do this. I told everybody I was going to do it. I have to follow up now, and I gotta have my assistant print these, and I got to put them in a nice frame, and I got to somehow meet these agents after the class.
That's a great idea. Another idea would be I want them coming to my territory on my turf to see my team in my office.
I love it.
So you could also close them for that certificate that, hey, I'm going to set up an appointment for you to come by the office, pick up the certificate.
Yep.
Now they're coming in, you sit them down, you got them captured, they're going to see your operation, hopefully it's a good one. You can have them face to face with your team, which is huge because they meet your team and see what you're doing, and now all these people are real people. That's huge because it's tough sometimes to get agents to your office. I'm all about getting them. Meet me at my office. I'm not. Then you can be more efficient because you could literally schedule them each on an hour, bang them all. Bang 3, 4, 5 out in a day. Versus if you're driving, to an office, and then the thing I like is if you drive to the office and then they may not be there too because. Yep. They got to drive to your TJ smiling. That may have happened. So, but again, if I was going to do the office one, I'd want to do it after if I was going to do that strategy, because I've done that, I do it after. I find out when their office meeting is or the team meeting, and I schedule right after the meeting or right before, so that I have a chance to interact with as many agents as possible. Because now I've gotten past the gatekeeper and I'm in the office. No one kicks you out once you're in. You just got to get past the gatekeeper. So if you got everyone that just came for an office meeting, that's be a great way to piggyback on hand delivering a certificate on the day they're doing the office meeting.
Dig it. I dig it.
So, all right. Well, we are 10:53. You were at the beach, so we don't want to take up too much of your time. I just have really one more thing, and this is probably, I think, one of the biggest challenges that we consistently see is promoting and filling the room. I know you mentioned Facebook earlier. Are you Facebook, or do you have a dialer? Are you making phone calls, or email, Facebook ads, all of the above, smoke signals, how are you really getting the word out there consistently, not to your core agents, but to new folks that you're trying to bring into your classes?
Cool. I'll do the same for the core and the new. So I do an email every week to my agents every Monday. So I put it in there. I create a Facebook event and I invite every agent I'm a friend with on there. And then I have a script that I instant message 20 to 30 agents a day with the personal invite to the thing. And then I do phone calls too, just blasting the phone. Now you can do that if you're going to blast the cold list, slide dial. If you got a giant cold list you want to do, and just blast the slide dial out. But, and then the other big thing is the ones that you got to have a system for registering too, that kind of has, email confirmation that goes out, some email reminders, that kind of stuff. So I have a whole system that I use for that. And then you would want to, but the reminder phone calls and text messages are huge. Like, even if they register, if you want them to come in the room, that phone call at the end is huge to get the conversion from registration to following up, from what I've found. Just the reminder phone calls and reminder emails. You got to just stay in their face. Yep. And I have a private Facebook group that I drop every agent in I meet, so I promote it in there as well. But the instant message it's more work, but it runs a lot of, that's great because you get that instant message. A lot of people read that message more than Facebook, email.
Now, are you doing the messaging yourself, or do you have are you using a virtual assistant or a member of your team? I'm
using EP Mortgage with Keith Gilringer. So his virtuals are doing everything with the phone. All I do the email blast and the phone calls I'm doing. Yeah. I have his virtuals do all my Facebook stuff.
Yeah, Keith's virtuals are awesome at that. They're really strong at that. I'm a big fan of Keith and what his people do, with that. So very cool. So. All right, Fish, that was the last thing I had before I hand John my credit card.
Just so everybody knows, MLO Net, I mean, we're not running this whole group to help people sell products, but, at the end of the day, there's some folks that have some really, 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 really cool stuff out there. And John has something really cool. So, you guys, if you don't want to hear about anything that John has to sell, you can just shut this off right now and you can take all the tips he gave you. But me personally, I'm excited about the classes he has and the way he structured them. John took what helped him build the super successful business plan and packaged it together in a way that you can basically buy his courses, you can buy his system, you can buy the CRM, and I'll let him talk about it. I mean, he designed it all, so I think it's killer though.
Cool, I appreciate that. Hey guys, real quick, I hate pictures, but it's loanofficerseminarsystem.com. If you go there, that's the sales page. If you scroll down, you can literally see all the classes. Right now we have 15 classes, 3 different lunch and learn templates, and it's a whole event management system. So we release a new class every quarter. So we're releasing a consumer direct class next, which I'm excited about. I need to get more business from my database. So I have a wealth builder workshop I'm coming out with, which I recommend people run quarterly to their database, which will allow you to partner with financial planners, CPAs, and insurance agents. I think that's a hard one to add value to. So now if we're filling a room with clients for them, they better damn well be sending me business once I get that off the ground. I have a demo site because you actually get your own personalized, totally customizable website that you can add your own content to, whatever. But I have a demo site set up. It's eventdemosite.com. If you go there, you can see I have real events as a demo scheduled for the rest of the year. So that's the biggest. I give you all the content. You've got all the marketing material, emails, Facebook message to message. You got videos, 45-second promo videos you can drop on Facebook and use. So there's live videos of me teaching the class. There's also MP3 downloads of me teaching. So the thing about worrying about teaching, the PowerPoints, the way I designed them is you can literally read the PowerPoint and be saved because it's not like a word you got to talk about and remember information. All the important content's in the slides. So you can watch them all, and that'll get you through it. And then they all have handouts which have all the information on the slide, because this is a good tip. Never give out your PowerPoint ever, especially to agents, because the broker gets it, he'll teach it, and he don't need you anymore. So don't ever give out your PowerPoint to anybody. You should always have a handout that has the information you need. So we have that in there. What I'll do for everybody is I'll give you guys a sample, something out for you guys of a survey I do as a freebie for you guys, for everyone in here. Because I think that's that survey's huge on conversion. So I can give that away for free. But loanofficerseminarsystem.com. Guys can hit me up, friend request me. Anyone, when you sign up, I do a 1-hour coaching call that best practice gets you going, tell you what classes to teach first, all that, get you started, walk you through the system. And then, as I said, Keith Gilringer, EP Mortgage, has a whole package set up to do all the marketing for the classes. So whether you're using mine or not, we piloted with mine, but he set it up. You guys can sign up for that. and he'll do he has a price per class per month that his virtuals will market the whole class totally free. I don't know if you guys have any other specific questions, but the best thing to do is check out the website, hit me up with questions on Facebook or email or whatever, or, guys can really welcome set up a call through Facebook Messenger, and I'll chat with anybody who has any questions. But again, it's designed it for you guys to get you guys, take away the stuff that I have. The new content is the huge thing. So you have more than a 12-month worth of content right now, and you'll never run out of new content that keep coming out with new presentations.
Yep. So awesome. I would say this just as a reminder to everyone that's watching this, MLO Net or any of the other stuff that we do, Fisher and I are very careful about who we allow them to promote in here, who we promote, who we endorse. Because our thing has always been about making sure that the right people are getting in front of loan officers, people who truly have the desire to help the loan officer out and help us build this loan officer community. And, and John and his system, 100% endorsement from us. Wouldn't you agree, Fish? I mean, This is, John, what you're offering is so much better than what everyone else has out there. As far as, people are like, here's 2 half-ass PowerPoints that have put together, now go teach a class and, pay me $2,000. Type of thing, right?
Yeah, I got a girl I pay $45,000 a year on salary that does all this. She's a marketing, graphic design person. I would never personally done it, but when I rolled the system out, I hired her on in front of the money. So I don't know, for Fish, for your MMBC, I had a couple of guys that bought my system. So we, as assigned to any MMN full instructor member, I said, sure, I'll custom. I didn't charge those guys anything extra. We just basically have my marketing girl go at it, add it to our system that we have as a template, and also if anyone brings something to me that's a member, hey, can you do this? As long as it's not something crazy, I'm always looking to add benefit to the group. So I think that's how I actually hooked up with Fish. Is I called for permission first, said, hey, guys that are your instructors want me to add this to the system. No one else will get it, so it was a win-win, and I'm always looking for win-win opportunities.
Which, by the way, that's awesome that you did that you reached out. Most folks don't do that, and so we're so busy. Everyone's busy stealing everybody's other information.
That's
reached out, man. That's
crap. Yeah, I hate that.
Yep. So cool. All right, that's all I got, man. Pleasure. Enjoy the beach, Fish. You have anything to wrap it up with?
Man, I can't. I don't know if I can follow that. I mean, it's pretty straightforward and simple, but as he explained earlier, there's a lot of action steps to build something like that, and if you want to take a pretty big shortcut, John's got that shortcut built there for you. We're certainly happy that he's got it available for the LOs that want to take that shortcut. And if you don't, pick up all the tips that he dropped today, because I think from years of trying and probably failing along the way, but ultimately finding that it was much more beneficial to him to teach classes to real estate agents than to teach people how to measure the distance to stars. I would say I think you got it figured out.
So cool. All right. Well, let's wrap it up, John. Go to the beach. Go get some crab cakes, steamed crabs. Enjoy yourself. Stay away from secrets. And then we're doing we're working on the Mid-Atlantic MLO Net get together probably either August or September. Man, we'll have to let you know and get you out there. So we're probably all of them are kind of like Maryland, Delaware, and Philly try to get together. Catch up and hang out a little bit. But dude, seriously, awesome stuff. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing with us. We appreciate what you do. Anything we can do to help you out, we certainly will. Fish, and on that note, say what you always say, brother.
Take imperfect action and enjoy the beach, sir.